Luxury store in San Francisco's Union Square attempts to curb retail theft with a new tool. I didn't think this is a new tool. I thought this is an age-old tool, but maybe in today's context, because it's so insane to just let a criminal just drive his car into the store and ram through the entire facade of the front of the building and just, then they have a bunch of guys hop out like clowns out of a clown car, run into the store that's all destroyed, grab a bunch of stuff and book it out. Yeah, that's what you've got going on in Democratic-run cities all over the United States. You know why? Because the criminals know they can get away with it. But hey, let's install a new tool. Let's talk about that tool. It's called a bollard. Let's get into it. Here we go. Oakland businesses have already been implementing this safety measure for years. You see it all the time. It's usually... You'll see it in front of 7-Eleven, right? So those big, huge, like yellow concrete pillars that just jut up out of the ground. And you go, that's just a general notion that you don't want to tap your car into the store. No, it's so people won't drive it in there, like just in reverse, and smash out the windows and run in. Cause you don't want to try and be standing up there on that glass, that anti-smash glass, and just beating on it with a hammer. You don't want to do that. You just drive your car in. Everybody knows this. Coming soon to a liberal city near you. No, it's been ongoing for years, hasn't it? Well, let's take a look at it. Look at this shiznit. Here they are. Is that not the ugliest thing you've got going on here? Does that not just scream, hey, we've been broken into before. We're trying to use a new tool. Instead of going after the criminals, instead of making this illegal enough where people don't do it, let's put a bollard out in front of our business because this is going to work out great. A set of barriers were recently installed in front of Dior's Union Square location to prevent thieves from crashing their cars into the building, local officials confirmed. And it's possible that it will soon be one of many stores featuring the odd-looking fixtures. They're odd looking because they shouldn't have to be there. They're odd looking because you don't have the balls to incarcerate the criminals running around doing this willy-nilly. And the shenanigans that entail, right? We're aware of these bollards, and a public works inspector reached out to the fronting business owner yesterday. So apparently these aren't legal. San Francisco Public Works spokesperson Rachel Gordon told SF Gate in an email, the department is working with local stores on installing decorative planters and bollards or sturdy posts to prevent cars from plowing into them, she said. Last year, an orchestrated burglary involving multiple drivers. One person crashed a car into Dior's downtown location, allowing two other individuals to run off with merchandise. Just last month, Mayor London Breed advocated for the fixtures after a person crashed a vehicle into the Louis Vuitton location and attempted to burglarize it, KGO TV said. Do you remember when the San Francisco 49er, the football player, professional football player, got shot through the chest and it was a through and through? Do you remember that? And he was okay. Merely a flesh wound, Monty Python style. But it was legit. It just, the bullet, and he's just up and going. Yeah. Anyway, that happened right here in Union Square. Guy gets shot through the chest. Just, it's okay. It's in and out. I'm good. Just patch me up. We'll be fine. I'll just play at the highest level of football with, just a little bit of, surface bleeding. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, you've got these stories going on and everybody's just like, big city crime. Yeah, nothing to look at to here, nothing to see here. We just want to prevent vehicles from ramming into these businesses in order to rob them, Breed said in the article. I'm sorry. What did you say, London Breed? We just want to prevent vehicles from ramming into these businesses in order to rob them. Why don't you lock up the criminals? What about that? Oh, can't do that. Racist. Oh, that's a no-go. Look at these bad boys. Now, what is their method of attachment? That is the real story, because method of attachment is how you determine whether it's personal property or real estate. Difference is you take it with you when you move out or you leave it there. So how do they attach these? Are these just lag bolted into the concrete? Looks like we got some big things here. If anybody's in construction and knows how these are set up, Throw me a comment. I'd love to know. And they're so big and top heavy, right? So that they take the impact of the car smashing into them. You know who doesn't have to have these bollards in front of their businesses? Republican-run cities, because they don't allow these kind of shenanigans to happen in the first place, right? And then there's no issue of, well, is it aesthetically pleasing to have these gigantic things of concrete erupting from the sidewalk? Talk about making the effing sidewalk not, as passable as it could be. And then you've got this little gauntlet to go through out in front of the store. Doesn't that just scream, don't come here? I mean, somebody might drive a car into our store, so you're happily shopping away, and right? Just into the store. Though these barriers appear to be new in Union Square across the Bay Area, a fair share of business owners have already dealt with car crashes over the years and had to take preventative measures. We've had these car crashes going on at mini marts here all over Seattle. Because it's your smash and grab, right? On a big scale, because you got a hot wire a Kia or a Hyundai, because you're a Kia boy, and then you smash said car into some store and run in, and and if it doesn't work the first time, you just pull it forward a little bit and then just ram it backwards, get in there and get your stuff. It's all in a day's work. I mean, it's all in a day's work. Yeah. That kind of thing doesn't happen in Republican states because you don't have people just running around willy-nilly doing this kind of stuff. And when they do it, they get caught and they get prosecuted and they end up in jail for a long time. Interesting how that works. In Oakland, thieves have deliberately rammed their cars into liquor stores and dispensaries to steal ATMs and marijuana products. Same exact thing. And speaking of that, let's go visit Redmond, Washington, Microsoft country. I am literally on Bell Red Road, and the red stands for Redmond because Redmond's just over my shoulder that way, and downtown Bellevue is just a handful of miles that way. And so here's a story out of Redmond. City denies Redmond pot shop's request to install bollards a month before crash and grab. And then also they've been broken into 4 times. 4 times. It's like, what are we even doing? Although this is Washington State. So, basically same exact deal as, as San Francisco, right? Where Seattle is San Francisco light. So let's hit play here. Let me get you the audio. Audio is always good.
City denied their request for security upgrades. Their store became a victim of another crash and grab break-in.
Thieves drove a stolen Kia right through #cannabis on Leary Way earlier this week, and it wasn't the first time. KOMO's Paul Rivera has
Timothy Leary Way. Yeah.
More on who police are looking for and that business owner's message to the city.
For Christine Bryant-Darling, marketing director of #Cannabis, it's hard to accept that they can't take the necessary steps to protect their business.
After discussion, they denied our request.
The city of Redmond said due to code, you can't put bollards on the sidewalk. This store's business owner believes those barriers would have stopped this. A crash and grab from this week where Redmond police say several kids rammed a stolen car to the front of the shop, then went inside, clearing merchandise, leaving, and then coming back before making a getaway. What's worse, in September, the business got hit the same way. Besides mentioning the code, the city didn't elaborate on why bollards wouldn't be allowed.
Without bollards, these kind of events, they make pedestrians unsafe, and
They make your business unsafe.
Absolutely.
What if someone's here?
Yes.
Do you think that having boarded up businesses is more aesthetic?
I have walked by this store. This store is across the street from a kind of a Tex-Mex restaurant that I have frequented many, many, many times over the years. So I have followed the story of this store for years now, and they are continually getting broken into.
More detrimental than having bollards?
Absolutely.
A Redmond spokesperson told us the city can work with businesses to find alternate solutions to deter this action.
Like
what alternate solutions exist to prevent a stolen car, from driving into your business that isn't a barrier?
Right. I think barriers Barriers are the only solution I can imagine.
For now, hashtag cannabis remains in talks.
See, we got a Black Lives Matter sign here. So that kind of tells you everything, doesn't it? And we got a bunch of other LGBTQ. So what I would say to, what's her name? Christine. Hey, you got a sign up that is promoting a domestic terrorist organization. If you're okay with that, keep flying that sign. Otherwise, yeah, no can do. Most regular folks understand that Black Lives Matters is literally a domestic terrorist organization. They caused $2 billion of insurable damage during the post-fentanyl Floyd Summer of Love in 2020, and $5 billion of damage total, including uninsured. So that is literally the definition of domestic terrorism. Yeah.
With the city, but there's no mention yet if the decision would be changed. In the meantime, they just have to hope they don't get hit again. Reporting in Redmond, Paul Rivera, Como News.
The store owner hopes other cities review their policies to allow businesses to protect themselves with security devices like barriers.
And tonight's Como Pulse poll deals with protecting those pot shops. Preston Phillips.
So, the ridiculousness about all of this is you're not going after the criminals. You're not going after the criminals. You're trying to give protections to these businesses. You know, if you just take these losers off the street and incarcerate them, you won't have to litter your sidewalk with all kinds of crazy things. I mean, somebody's going to get the idea, hey, you know what? If we just get a dump truck and back that up into the store, it'll all be good. I'm sure Steve Irwin, guy who is mining in the Seattle park, I'm sure he could get a dump truck in there. Just, hot wire it at the local job site, drive it over, put it in reverse and smash on through. I mean, that's how you do it, right? So all of this prevention stuff, if these folks, had a little bit of pushback on their activity, and by that, I don't mean putting a concrete deal up on the sidewalk that looks hellacious. Yeah, we're doing everything else but going after the criminal element. In that story, you didn't hear about anything. You just heard about how do we protect the store. How about you incarcerate those bastards? And intentional or not, it has major consequences on local business owners in the downtown area. Howden Market installed barriers after a drunken driver crashed into it in 2021, which nearly decimated the store. Last year, Jeff Weinstein, the CEO of Wise Sons Jewish Delicatessen, told San Francisco Gate that car crashes in his Franklin Street location in 2022 and 2023 caused more than $250,000 in damages. Though no one was injured, employees were worried it could happen again. Yeah, if you're in an area where cars are coming through, but at a high rate of speed, but that's not what we're talking about. We are talking about the intentional driving of a vehicle into a store to open up a hole so you can run in there, grab your stuff, get the F out. Just nuts, right? Absolutely nuts. Got another article here, and this is from the U.S. Sun. And they go on to say, San Francisco Public Works confirmed the structures were installed to prevent theft and said DUR may be the first of many stores to install the posts. The innovative solution comes as no surprise as the Bay Area has been struggling to retain retailers who are fleeing the city to protect their employees. Not just their employees, but their management, their ownership, their customers. Because you got Looney Tunes driving in there. September of 2023, just a year ago, we were talking about Target shut down 3 stores in the city and said organized crime had made the business untenable. We know that our stores serve an important role in the communities, but we can only be successful if the working and shopping environment is safe for all. Well, you got to go after the criminal element. You got to go after the criminal element. And when you've got politicians in place that aren't excited about doing that, then no amount of security out on the sidewalk is going to stop these criminals from figuring out a way to get in, because the world is their oyster and crime does pay. Earlier this fall, a Starbucks in the city closed after enjoying 30 years of business, and a beloved grocer shut for good just weeks prior. We have covered so many businesses in San Francisco that have closed down, and some institutions that people are just in love with, just stores, restaurants, you name it. And these places say, no, we're not dealing with San Francisco and its rampant crime. We can't do it. And when, it's like a weed store in Redmond gets broken into 4 times. Eventually the owner's going to go, I can't do this. I can't run a business while this kind of shenanigans are going on. It's a no can do. It's a no deal. For several years, business owners have complained about brazen thieves boldly destroying their properties to make a quick buck because you allow it to happen. You allow it to happen. You defunded the police. You thought it was the greatest concept of all time. You have a Black Lives Matter sign in your effing window. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Seriously, what's wrong with you? Did you not see Black Lives Matter absolutely tear apart Bellevue Square if you're in Redmond? Did you not see Black Lives Matter tear apart downtown Seattle? I mean, connect the dots, folks. Not that hard. And then you're like, I can't believe people are breaking into my store. Well, it's because they don't have any pushback on saying, no, you can't do that. And, a bollard out in front, I mean, what does that say? That just says, we got a lot of criminals. We don't like to really help them out that much. But, here's a pole, stick in front of your store. Hope it works out. It's wild, right? It's wild because we're just not going after the right, not going after the right angle here, which is incarcerate them, arrest them, prosecute them, incarcerate them. But no, we're not doing that. Last month, a driver rammed into the Louis Vuitton after that store was targeted. London Breed announced that posts would be implemented across town with the government's help. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. We just want to prevent vehicles from ramming into these businesses in order to rob them. No kidding. No kidding. I mean, here's anti-theft measures rolled out by retailers. Locking items in cabinets. That is annoying to the consumer. We don't want to deal with that nonsense. Security pegs. Okay, whatever. Security cameras. So that when you go to the police and give them a description, the police can go, yeah, well, we're not going to be able to find them. So, thanks for the footage. Signs warning about the impact of theft. What do those do? Because there is no impact of theft. You had Proposition 47. There's no impact of theft. It's not happening. Even if it's over $950, nobody cares. It's just like, too bad. Insurance. Receipt scanners. Okay. All right. Receipt checks. Carts with locking technology. See where we're going? I mean, how about lock up the bastards causing all this? What about that? Oh, good Lord. That is a revolutionary concept. I don't know how we're going to implement that. Let me think about that for a second. Let's see. We send the police after them and police arrest them for doing a crime and prosecutor prosecutes them and then a judge sentences them to, that'll never work. We can't do that. I mean, that's not American, right? That's racist. And that's where we sit, putting up bollards. Ugh. All right. Anywho, thanks for being here. I'll catch up with you on the next one. Bye for now.